and welcome to the show. Once again, we have a fabulous lineup of guests to energise and inspire you.
It's time to wake up your wow with your host, international award-winning speaker, Cath Vincent.
On the show, we hear from horse friendship trainer Rosemary Wyndham-Jones on the calming energy of horses. Vet and equine nutritionist Corinne shares her surprising business success. And meet the artist Sharman, who paints with his mouth. And in the Wilde Records music slot with Jessie Wilde, we hear original music from teen singer-songwriter Grace Kelly. All this and more to wake up your wow. Rosemary, welcome. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Kia ora. Thank you for inviting me.
Now, your field is friendship with horses for health. Tell me a bit about that.
I teach natural horse friendship.
Oh.
So I demonstrate how horses interact with each other.
Right.
So it's like learning their language. So it's a skill that people can use, and it teaches them. So it's about horses teaching us about us.
Oh, horses teaching us about us.
Yeah.
So what is it about the way that horses communicate with each other that we can learn?
Well, they teach us boundaries, they teach us trust, they teach us how to be in relationship, how to have connection, and the biggest one probably is respect.
Wow, that's a lot to learn from a horse that seems really silent.
Yes, so it's all non-verbal.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, because people do talk a lot. We all talk a lot. So how does that, break it down for me a bit, how does it actually work?
So I demonstrate how we all have an energy field around us, so it's all about energy really.
Right.
Okay, so I demonstrate how, we've got our personal space, like we've got our personal space.
Yep.
So my energy sort of bubble here, our personal one ends here, and yours ends here.
Okay, and
so
if
we actually don't actually end here, right? So if I influence some energy towards you, you'll feel it.
Yes.
Now, as human beings, we're a little bit dead to that, but horses, when you do that with horses, they instantly give you feedback to see whether your energy is actually, influencing them or not.
Oh, okay.
So it's because normally I do these interviews with a horse. And I asked, and I didn't think you'd let me bring one into the studio. So.
Okay, so I will be the horse for today. Here we go.
So it is about demonstrating those energy fields and boundaries.
Yeah.
So the rule of thumb is with what I show people is that if you're approaching the horse, they get to set the boundaries. And if the horse is approaching you, you get to set the boundaries. So immediately there's mutual respect happens.
Right. And I can start to see now how that would kind of filter through into human relationships. What do you see about how humans are with their boundaries?
Well, I do a lot of work with Women's Refuge and at-risk kids, young offenders, and it really does teach them how to respect their own space and have other people respect their own space and to respect other people's space.
Yeah. And how do the results of that show up in tangible ways in real life?
Well, for instance, when white minibus turns up with all the young offenders in, they've got their hoodies up, their eyes are down, and they're kicking the stones on my drive, wishing they were anywhere but my place.
Yeah.
And, 2 hours later, their hoodies are down, they're smiling, they're hugging me, and they think I'm the best thing since sliced bread.
Wow.
And that is because, I ask them to go and meet and greet the horse whichever way works for them. So
Right.
what they do is they go into the paddock. So I've got about 15 horses. And they go into the paddock like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, right? And then as they walk up to the horse, they realise how big the horse is.
Yeah.
And you can see them getting slower and slower, and they go on the back foot, and it's like, whoa. That's that, they don't say that, but that you can see that in their body language.
Yeah.
So the horses command respect.
Right.
And what the young people learn, the youth learn, is that what works for them on the street doesn't work for them with the horse.
Right. And also you mentioned women in refuge.
Yeah.
Tell me how that works.
Similarly, I mean, it's basically similar. I do with everyone. I mean, everyone needs to know about boundaries, needs to know about trust and respect and how to be a leader in their own lives, and that's what I show them.
Yeah, and it's really not taught, is it? It's a kind of set of soft skills that's not really taught anywhere. It's not taught in schools.
Well, I have taken horses to school.
You take those horses everywhere, don't you?
Well, I really wish I had one here.
I know.
So yeah, I've taken them to schools, and that's been amazing. 75 little 7-year-olds sitting down, like looking at me doing what I do with horses, and they've come in and had a go. And
Yeah.
So basically, what I show people regarding that is inherently horses know. Well, they want to follow something because that's what foals do. They follow their mothers because that represents safety, nurturing, food, all that. So that is instinctual in a horse. Now, when you demonstrate those qualities, the horse wants to be with you.
Yeah.
So that is an amazing way to, and when people get that connection, it's called join up. They become very emotional most of the time.
Right,
Join up.
Yeah.
So when a horse chooses to follow you because you demonstrate some sort of quality that they recognise in another horse, if you like, in their language, then they choose to follow you.
Wow, that would feel really empowering, wouldn't it? So if you were a young offender or you're a woman in refuge, any of those things, and then this horse chooses to follow you, that's going to make you feel pretty special.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
Well, I run a charity called Equine Pathfinders Foundation, and we are looking to raise funds for saving the Kaimanawa horses and putting them together. So in America, they've had real good success of putting the Mustangs in with prisoners in couple of prisons in Arizona and Nevada, and so we're looking to take the horses that are going to get put down, because quite often there's a handful of horses that get put down from the muster every year.
Yeah.
Take those horses and team them up with young offenders.
Great.
So it's called the Wild Boys, Wild Horses program.
Yeah, awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So, but we need funding for that. I need fences, because at the moment my fencing will not hold wild horses.
Yeah.
But that's my next project.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, giving us great insight into boundaries and horses and all sorts of things.
You're so welcome.
We wish you all the best with your project.
I hope you come along and have an experience.
I'm coming. I'm going to come. That'll be in the next season.
Thank you.
Up next, the horse theme continues with vet Dr. Corinne Hills.
Corinne, welcome. Thanks for being here.
I'm very excited to be here, so thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, hey, you are a vet who accidentally has built quite a big business.
That's true. I was never very interested in business. I naively thought I could just be a veterinarian and business could be left to my accountant.
Yeah.
But that's not really how life works. Turns out whatever occupation you're in, while your skill might be what you've studied, what you end up doing is running a business. So.
Yeah. So how did that, it kind of crept up on you, didn't it? This idea that you were going to end up running a business. So first of all, what is your business?
My company is Prodarsa International Limited, and it really came about because I developed a supplement for horses.
Right.
I didn't intend to build a business.
Yeah.
I just made a product that made a difference to the horses in my veterinary practice and the people who are attached to them.
Yeah. And interestingly, you have a nutritional background, which most vets don't automatically have.
Yeah, in North America, you can't go directly to vet school. You have to study first at a university level. Most people have a degree and some life experience before they get into vet school.
Yeah.
So we all come from a slightly different background from each other. I was studying towards a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture with a major in animal science. And so I learned to balance rations in, dairy and beef herds and so on and so forth. And
Okay, cool. So you brought your nutritional background and you made a supplement.
yes, I probably need to explain a little bit about horses and their inconvenient relationship with food, or only horse people will understand this. But when horses, just like people, are under the added stress of hard training, competition, travel, or illness, their requirements for a whole bunch of nutrients increase.
Right.
But unlike people who often turn to food at times of stress, like chocolate,
Yeah,
or
that's
for some
me.
of us,
That's
Chardonnay.
me. That's my nutritional supplement.
Yes, exactly. Horses have a really inconvenient tendency to go off feed and drink less than they should, just as their requirements actually increase.
Right.
Because horsemen competing and traveling regularly with them are aware that this is a problem, they would traditionally have had veterinarians come and provide the extra nutrients needed to support metabolism, performance, recovery, and health
Right.
by some injectable form,
Right.
mostly.
Okay.
And all those treatments are effective enough. They're stressful for horses,
Yeah.
and they're expensive because you've got to pay me to go out and give them. You know, we aren't cheap, sorry. And I just thought nutrition can be provided orally, so I developed an oral paste to fill the gap between good daily nutrition and the increased requirements horses have at times of stress.
Okay, so you made a paste that they could just eat,
Yeah.
but how did you get around the fact that they don't want to eat?
Oh, well, it's a gel in a big oral dosing syringe, so you just put the syringe in the mouth and squirt it down their throat.
Okay.
But it's tasty. It's in a molasses base. Horses like it, so
Okay.
it's not too bad. And one of its effects is to get them back eating normally and drinking normally,
Right.
so they can take in the balance of the calories and protein and fiber they need themselves.
Yeah, so they can perform, basically,
Yes.
you know. Actually, I could do with some of that. Have you got one for humans?
Well, as a matter of fact, no, I don't. But it's all made from human pharmaceutical and food-grade ingredients. And horsemen, this will repulse you, I'm sure, but horsemen report that they quite like to, you know, they take the cap off with their teeth and they suck the bit that's left in the cap out. And some people, you know, they'll give it to their horse and then they'll lick the bit off the syringe that came out. Anyway, it is pretty tasty and it's safe for people.
Okay, so what does it taste like?
Kind of like really strong salty Marmite or Vegemite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you grow up in New Zealand or Australia and you've been indoctrinated to eat that stuff from a very young age, it's probably fine for you. I am not keen.
Yeah.
So if I was going to have it for me, I would want it, I don't know, I'd want the actives in capsules or something so I wouldn't have to taste it.
Yeah. But it's quite a breakthrough in how stress in horses, you know, stress and nutrition has been balanced in horses. And now you sell it all over the world.
Yeah.
You seem surprised. It's
I know. Yeah, well, like I said, I didn't really make this product to launch a business, and I'm really not a business person, and I'm really not into marketing or sales. But it produces a visible difference in horses, and so it's kind of sold itself and just spread from my veterinary practices. I had a practice here in New Zealand, but I also had a practice in the Middle East that was quite international.
Right.
So it spread to 35 odd countries
Wow.
from there, and largely without my help. So I'm pretty proud of that.
So where is it manufactured?
In New Zealand, I actually have a purpose-built building.
So tell me, as someone who's not been interested in marketing and all the stuff that goes with that, how have you been able to conquer that?
Well, to start with, the product itself meets nutritional requirements for horses under stress, so it does have an impact on metabolism, performance, and recovery that people can see. So to a large extent, it's actually sold itself. But what I do on a daily basis is I travel around to the various export markets the product's sold in, and I try and educate horsemen and veterinarians about how to read labels and how to compare what they're giving in a product to the nutrient requirements they're trying to meet.
So if you were going to give someone some advice on launching a business and creating the kind of success that you've created, what would it be?
Well, I started with something I was really passionate about, preventative health care and nutrition.
Yeah.
I was motivated and guided by a strong sense of veterinary ethics and also a heartfelt desire to do something good for horses and the people they're attached to.
Yeah.
Then I worked really hard, possibly to the exclusion of a lot of other things. But somebody once said, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Yeah. So I guess that's worked for me.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is passion and hard work.
Pretty much, yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for joining us on the show, Corinne.
Thank you for having me.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me here today. My question to you is, how confident are you when you speak in public? How confident would you be doing an elevator pitch like this one? The truth is, if you are not supremely confident every time you speak, you're not the best ambassador for your business. You're not the one who's going to get that job promotion. And you're simply not the person you were born to be. Get happy when you speak and you'll discover confidence you never knew you had. And those results will show up everywhere.
Up next, facing challenges with artist Grant Sharman.
Grant, welcome to the show.
Cath, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, you are an artist of hundreds of paintings and you've done all of them with your mouth.
Yeah, sounds a bit weird, doesn't it, really?
It really does.
So I never wanted, I'm kind of a reluctant artist.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a pilot when I was 14. I wanted to fly Hercules, then I wanted to fly in New Zealand, 747s, make a lot of money, retire. Simple life, 14-year-old plan.
Yeah.
And then one afternoon, playing rugby, dived into a ruck. That was it. The whole life changed.
So that's a tragic impact on a young life.
It wasn't a good day. I mean...
It wasn't a good day.
Yeah. Well, we lost the game. So, I wasn't too impressed.
I love your spirit, Grant, I have to say.
Well, it gets worse because that weekend I was taking my first girlfriend out on a date. So here I'm lying in Middlemore with skull tongs. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was a crap week, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wasn't good. But yeah, in all seriousness, it was just one of those moments in time. I'd had 2 previous rugby injuries to my knees. Mum said I couldn't play. I went to Dad. Dad said let the kid play. Kid played, and he made a mistake. He just dived in, and bang, it was all over in 2 seconds. And it literally that split second not thinking changed my life forever. And when I do talks to schools, I try and stress to the kids, take risks, have fun, be a bit goofy, but remember, it just takes 1 second of not thinking, and your life's different.
Obviously, you were in hospital for, I would imagine, for a period of time.
Well, that's putting it mildly, really. So I'd been in boarding school for 8 years.
Yeah.
So I was sort of institutionalised. Went into Middlemore and with the skull tongs.
So the skull tongs, what's all that?
Yeah, so it's a little bit medieval, actually. They kind of drill a thing in the side of your head and they hang weights over and they keep you really still. You got to remember, this is 1977.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably way more modern these days. But lay there with this weight, with traction, and then they came in and they wired my neck, put some wire around it, put some bone off my hip, sewed it up, and then told me, I can move my head. And I said, it ain't going to happen. This head's going to fall off otherwise. So it took me ages. And I'd lost my muscle tone and, I had no real movement at all. And, I went to spinal unit. So I was the first patient there, SPU 233-0001. And, I stayed there for 11 years.
You stayed 11 years?
Yeah. So let's just say my rehab didn't go too well.
11 years of rehab?
Yeah. Well,
oh my goodness.
I think I rehabbed for about the first 2 years. See, I was given 10 years to live. So I kind of figured, well, what's the point of all this physio and all this hard work stuff? Well, I ain't going to do that. And then after about 1.5 years, I kind of looked around and I saw some new guys come through and saw what they were doing. I thought, hang on a minute. I think this whole 10-year thing's a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got back in the game. And at the same time, so I got assessed for School C. I did my UE. The kids these days will have no idea what that is. But I did my correspondence school over about 3 or 4 years. And then I was introduced to mouth painting. And, when Bruce said, have a go at painting, I went, hello, duh, hands don't work.
So this is Bruce?
This is Bruce Hopkins. And
yeah.
This is a guy who's 20 stone with a beard and a parrot on his thing. And he was like a real character, trust me. He was an amazing man. And he couldn't move anything. He was literally, his hands here the whole time.
Yeah.
And he just said, use your mouth. And I just thought, he's lost it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I did. And I went up, it was a Tuesday evening, it was 1980, I think, early 80. And I was about 16, 17. And I had a go. And when I talked to the kids and showed them the paintings, I say, my first painting is a particular genre. And they go, oh, really? Oh, wow. Because they go, oh, that's all cool.
Yeah.
And they go, what is it? And I said, it's called crap. Because that's what it is.
I think we've got your first one here. Can I show it?
Please do.
Okay, cool. Here we go. There we go. That's your first painting.
So I've framed that, and I have that, and the second one.
I quite like it. I mean, art is very subjective.
Yep. We need to work on your art appreciation, But it was, and I told him afterwards, I said, you can stick the paintbrush. And he said, no, you have another go, and I did, and it was nearly as bad.
Yeah.
And I just stuck at it, really.
Well, you were a painter before, though.
Oh, God, no.
Okay,
No,
so it's something you don't know how to do, and you're going to do it with your mouth.
Did you not see my first painting?
I saw your first painting. Oh, yeah, I did.
So I did school C art, right?
Yeah.
But I was in a top stream. I needed a sixth subject. I tried music. After 3 weeks, realised that was not going to happen.
Yeah.
So then I got transferred into the art class.
Okay, well, let's see how it progressed. Shall I show another one? Shall we have a look?
These are these are more recent. These aren't the latest ones, but they're
better.
pretty,
Bit better. Let's have a look. How about
so
this?
this is the watercolour
Oh,
floral.
my God.
So I think we can see we've progressed. And it's
I'd
interesting.
say so.
Again, when I talk to the kids in schools, I showed them the first one, and I showed them a later one, and they go, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And the message there really is that success is really a lot about perspiration. It's not about effort. A little science here, success is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration.
Yeah.
You just don't give up.
Yeah.
If you keep on and you keep on and you keep on, eventually you'll make it.
Yeah, and that's a great message for everyone in every field of life, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And actually your website expresses something similar.
Yeah, well, so I just redid, I'm very proud of my new website. It's about 18 months old. Thanks, Alicia. And when I did it, this phrase, shit happens.
Yeah.
And I put it up there because the reality is in life, it happens to everyone.
Yeah.
Clearly this is probably a slightly
Yeah.
large degree of it.
Yeah.
But it happens. And it's not actually what happened to you that is the important thing. Well, short of death, that's pretty final.
Yeah.
But really it's about how you approach it.
Yeah. And
particularly within the disabled community. So, back in the late 70s, there was nothing. Year of the Disabled was 83, and it was fascinating after that telethon to see the difference, the kind of, we've got people with disabilities. We live in a world now where we need to embrace diversity of all types.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think was lost for a long time was just the impact and what people with a disability, whatever it is, can do, what they can add to the community.
Yeah.
And I look at my life and the things that I've done over the last, 42 years I've been in a wheelchair now.
Yeah.
And I think, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is for those who are newly disabled, don't give me some whiny-ass excuse about it's too hard, because there is so much support. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
Sure, they have a tragic accident, it's sad, your life's not going to be the same. But if you still have a dream or an ambition, the world's there to help you.
Yeah.
So get on and do it.
I think that's an inspiring message for everyone. Thanks for joining us, Grant.
It's been a pleasure, thank you.
Jessie Wilde, back again. How are you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Yeah, awesome, thank you. So, who is recording with us today?
We have a young lady named Grace Kelly.
Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly's on the show. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a different Grace Kelly.
A much younger one, I
Yeah,
hear.
and just as awesome though.
Oh, interesting. Well, let's hear from Grace.
Great.
It was a time in my life I had everything right. I could drive down to the city and see who I wanted to be. I made friends, yeah, I met people who told me I was lucky to see all of this. San Jose, yeah, you called it my name with your warm summer breeze and your mountain winery. San Jose, you like a second home to me, 'cause when I danced on that stage, it was all a possibility. La da da da. La-da-da, la-da-da-da-da. Back at home, I bought my first guitar. But in Northern California, I bought my 12-string and she plays like a charm. You see, every time I go back to the States, I just think of that one place. San Jose, yeah, you caught on my day with your warm summer breeze and your mountain winery. San Jose, like a second home to me, 'cause when I danced on that stage, it was all a possibility. La-da-da-da, sing my memories back to me, you'll sing it back to me, yeah. La-da-da-da, la-da-da-da-da. Walking through Willow Glen makes my heart skip a beat, like riding the light rail on 2nd Street. Home will always be New Zealand, but San Jose gives me that feeling. San Jose. San Jose. San Jose. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. San Jose. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Mountain winery, baby. When I danced on that stage, it was all a possibility. La-da-da-da, sing my memories back to me, you'll sing it back to me, yeah. La-da-da-da, la-da-da-da-da.
That was fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
It's really catchy too.
Thank you. Yeah, we when we were filming the music video, everyone would be like, we'd have some downtime and it'd just be like, and I'd hear someone at the back and I'd be like, hey.
Totally.
Yeah, not a bad problem to have.
That's a sign of a good song, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Cool. So what made you write that song?
So I lived there for 6 years with my dad, and I met the CEO of Visit San Jose, and she was like, "Oh my God, you should write a song about San Jose," because she knew I was a songwriter, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, like sure." Never really thought anything of it, and was sort of like, if I was to write a song about San Jose, like what would you do with it? And so I wrote the song, got the idea for it, sent it to her, and she called me a little while later and was like, "Oh my God, I played it for my whole marketing team. They love it. We want to have you out here and fly you over to make a music video for it and use it to market the city." And I was just like gobsmacked on this phone call. Like, how
did this happen?
Yeah, no words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
Wow. I mean, that's big for a 16-year-old. Suddenly all that attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. And something else really exciting happened out of that, didn't it? With the man named Mr. Blake Sheldon, is that right?
Yes. So I got to perform at KRTY, which is the San Jose country radio station over there. They have like a songwriters night at this beautiful winery there, and Nate, the station manager, got me this gig to open for all these amazing songwriters, which was so cool.
Wow.
And after that, he sent an email asking if I wanted to be one of the opening acts for Blake Shelton in September. And
oh my God.
Right, so where's that gig?
That's at the SAP Centre in San Jose.
And how many people will be at that?
I think the venue holds 17,500.
Oh my goodness.
So
That's huge.
And that's even bigger than the Spark Arena.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's going to be an incredible gig. We wish you all the best.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun.
Our pleasure.
My thanks to all my special guests, to Rosemary, to Corinne, to Grant, to Grace, and of course our very own Jessie Wilde. And until next time, don't wait to wake up your wow.
Yeah, it looks just like Marmite. It's exactly the same. Excellent hangover cure and excellent for exhausted interviewers.
Okay, I'll do it.
So yeah.
Oh, actually, I quite like that.
She says while she makes a face.